One Piece Saddest backstory ranking. This is about to be crazy. I hope you guys are ready for this. We're about to get emotional. We're probably about to cry. We're gonna get teared up. We really are. What's up, guys? It's your boy Romans, aka Roman Sensei, and we're about to go and hop onto another tier list as promised. And also, guys, our crew's almost at 100,000 subscribers, so if you haven't yet, make sure to hit that button right there. By the time that this video is posted, we might already be at that milestone, so let's turn up. So as you guys see on the screen, I have the tiers laid out right there. From bottom to top, we have It Is What It Is, and then That's Sad, then Hit a Nerve, then Something in My Eye, and the very top, It's a Terrible Day for Rain. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. So I'm gonna be ranking these off of what my first impressions were off of each backstory with these characters. I didn't make this tier list right here. This was a pre-made one that I found on the website. That's why some of the characters on here, they might really not have that much of a backstory or depth, but it is what it is. It's gonna be fun to talk about. So the first character we have up here is Big Mom, and look, I'm already gonna say that I'm gonna put Big Mom at That's Sad. I am. And that you could look at that as a C tier or something, I don't know, but that's sad. Look, I say that because we know her character, her backstory is very vague, especially compared to other characters' backstories. Like, at the same time, it is sad. You know, we learn about, you know, Mother Carmel and how she trusted her so much and still didn't know everything she was up to. And that also helped us see the drastic change from Big Mom in her younger years to where she is now. But as I said before, even after the Whole Cake Island arc, it still felt like there was something missing from Big Mom's backstory that we've gotten from other characters. So at this moment, I'm just gonna put her at That Sad. That's where we're gonna put her. The backstory was sad enough. You know, there were some dark elements there. Next up, we have our boy Usopp. Now, Usopp, you know, Usopp's one of the most complex characters in One Piece. I really feel like he is, especially when it comes to his writing. You know, when we first saw him in Syrup Village, our first impression of him was he was a liar because he was lying about everything. But then when you get into the gist of it, like, oh my gosh, when you finally understand why he's doing what he's doing, yes, of course, lying isn't a good thing, but it's the principle of what he was doing. His mom being ill, him wanting to see, you know, his dad again, the Usopp pirates, the stories he would tell Kaya. And I mean, his backstory got more value to it after we found out, you know, that his father is on Shanks' crew. And because of that, right now, to start off with, I think I'm gonna put Usopp at Hit a Nerve. Hit a Nerve. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna say Hit a Nerve. That's where I'm gonna put Usopp. Next up, we have Mr. Don Chinjiao, and look, but I'm already gonna say it off the jump with him. It is what it is. He got punched by Garp. It ruined his head. You know, Luffy got it back in shape, so on and so on. Yes, there was more to it, but to me, there was nothing sad about it. You know, Don Chinjiao's not even really that type of character for you to be sad about. So right there, I'm just gonna have him right there. It's right there. Next up, we have our boy Tony Chopper, and I think, guys, we have our first. It's a terrible day for Rain, because come on now. I don't know about you guys, but in Drum Island, oh yeah, I was bawling. I was crying. I really was. Chopper's backstory, it really got me. It did. I mean, first off, you know, he was an outcast because I think it was his blue nose. Yeah, because of his blue nose, he was an outcast to the other reindeer. And then after, you know, he went and ate his Hito no Mi, it made it even worse due to the abilities that he possesses now. They didn't want to be around him. But of course, even after those elements, it gets crazier when we get Dr. Crocus's speech, Dr. Kureha. I think Chopper's backstory is an S tier backstory. I really do. So we're just going to keep it up there. I don't think it's going to be moving. The next one here, now let me just re-emphasize, this is a saddest backstory ranking. This isn't about the best backstory, the best written backstory. Next up, we have Doflamingo. I didn't cry during his backstory. You know what I'm saying? His backstory wasn't sad to me. Like, it is what it is for Dopey. You know what I'm saying? Like, compared to some of these other characters on here, his backstory isn't sad. You know what I'm saying? He's complaining about the wrong stuff. So now it is what it is with Dopey. We're just gonna put him right there. We're just gonna keep moving on now. We're gonna keep moving on. But if you really want to see what I rank Dopey, go ahead and check out my One Piece villain arc tier list, and you'll see where I ranked him, because you will be very satisfied. All right, next character we have up is one of our other fellow Straw Hats again. We have Frankie, and Frankie right there, I'm gonna say I had something in my eye when his backstory started. I did. So I'm gonna put Frankie up there. I'm gonna put Frankie right up there with something in my eye. Like, right when we got into Water 7, Frankie's charisma stole the show. I knew we were gonna get a deep dive into his character. I just didn't know how. And man, did this man have some baggage. Bro was abandoned at 4 years old, and then he later became a member of Tom's work. But you know, it's after that, when we finally got more in depth of his backstory within the Water 7 arc, you know, we see that, you know, he lost Tom right in front of him. The incident to where he had to go and turn himself into a cyborg. There were so many moments when he was trying to stop the train, you know, oh my gosh. Ooh. So many hard-hitting moments in Water 7, and Frankie's backstory, something in my eye. Now, next character we have up is a personal favorite of mine and probably of yours as well, Miss Boa Hancock, and we already know her backstory is tragic. We rarely see her compared to some of these other characters with some sad sad backstories, but due to how involved her backstory is with the plot of One Piece, it's a hard hitter because we know it's going in full circle. It is deep rooted within, you know, the real true evilness of the Celestial Dragon. I mean, like, once she was sold to the Celestial Dragons, you know, they're the ones that made her and her sisters basically eat those devil fruits, you know? So I mean, it's not like they did it by choice, and that's what makes it wild. And of course later, that's when she was freed by the goat, fish, or tiger. But by the time Boa was done explaining her situation and her backstory, you know, I was jaw dropped. I was like, are you serious right now? It just made you see things in a different perspective. You know, it made you even look at, you know, when Luffy was covering up Boa's sister's back tattoos in the Coliseum, it made it hit different. The backstory was very impactful, and because of that, I'm gonna have it up there with something in my eye, because that's what it did for me. It really did. Now, next character we have up again, man, is our boy Jinbei, another Straw Hat. Now, Jinbei's is a very interesting case. We really don't know a lot about his personal backstories, but he's involved in a lot. So I mean, it's part of his backstory. Because of everything he was involved in, I'm gonna put him on Hit a Nerve. I'm gonna put him behind Usopp. But thinking about everything that he's been through, I mean, he lost both Orihime and Fisher Tiger, and that right there is sad enough. It is. You know, when we saw those backstories and what those backstories meant and represented, Jinbei's done a lot and he's been through a lot. And you know, unlike Usopp and some of the characters, he's not the type of character to really show emotion that way. He's very calm-mannered and he's just very content. But you know, the main thing with his backstory, you know, he's just trying to fulfill Fisher Tiger's last wish in Orihime. So I think, you know, knowing that from his backstory right there, it hits a nerve. We know what the fishmen represent. We know what all's going on there. I'm gonna put it hit a nerve. Now, when we go back to this and update this after we get more from Jinbei, which we possibly will, yeah, he could go higher on here. He definitely could, but I think he's at a good spot right there. And, you know, speaking of Jinbei, next up on the list, I have Arlong. And for Arlong, I'm gonna put him at that sad. Some of these characters, you know, just because they're villains, it doesn't mean they can't have sad backstories. You know, his backstory to me is a little bit more, not a little bit, but it's more sad than someone's like Dofi's. You know what I'm saying? Like, Dofi already had it all. That's not sad to me. Arlong, he was part of the movement. You know, he's trying to go and fight for his people, and you know, it just started going south. And I'm gonna also put that behind Big Mom. Definitely. I feel like Big Mom's backstory has potential to grow more on this list later on, but Arlong's is gonna stay where it is. And of course, if I have Arlong on here, I have to have Nami next. And I think you all know where Nami's backstory is gonna go, guys. Yes, Nami's backstory is going up to A Terrible Day for Rain, and I'm sorry, I am going to put it up above Chopper's. I really am. It might not be part of Nami's backstory, but we already know at Arlong Park, when Nami was trying to get rid of her tattoo and Luffy stopped her, just when you think of Nami's backstory, that's the first thing that comes to mind. And then we get into her backstory. From her being found by Belmere to her and her unbreakable bond with her sister. Like, her being a member of the Arlong Pirates and it unraveling the way it did, it was a masterclass. Seeing everything what Nami was doing, what she was sacrificing, you know, by the end of just understanding everything with Nami in Arlong Park, I was bawling my eyes out. The more I talk about it, I can't, you know, so I'm just gonna leave it up there. Definitely gonna leave it up there. Now, next up we have Hody Jones. Like I said before, I didn't make this tier list, so we're just going with the flow with some of these characters that are on here. I would prefer some other characters I don't see on here, but maybe we'll do that next time. But look, Hody Jones, I'ma just go and put, I'm gonna put it is what it is. I am. I know I said some things about Arlong, but you know, Arlong to me, it is an overall better character anyway, so I'm gonna just put him at it is what it is. If I think of something, maybe I'll move him up, but he's good where he is right there. You know what, actually, no, I'm gonna just put him, yeah, he's been discriminated against, you know, he's a fisherman. I'm gonna just put him right there. I'm gonna put him right there. There we go. That, now I feel better. Look, next character we have up is Katakuri. Now, y'all know I'm a big Katakuri fan. Now, my first impression when we finally got into Katakuri's backstory and what he's been through, I'm not gonna lie, it actually did hit a nerve, and I'm gonna tell you why. His first appearance, you know, he walks in like some type of badass, so you know, I'm not expecting his backstory to be like it was. I'm expecting his backstory to be, you know, I didn't expect his backstory to be a struggle like that, just off how he was acting. I mean, next thing you know, we find out he's getting picked on, and then when he retaliates, you know, they don't retaliate back to him, they go find his sister Brule and retaliate on her. And what all that just led to was us seeing a strong character with an insecurity that we did not see coming, but yet that we could relate to. And I mean, because of that, I just have to say it hit a nerve. It really did. Look, next one we have up is Zoro. Now, when it comes to Zoro's backstory, it's a lot. When I say a lot, it's a lot of nothing. It's just a lot of questions, you know? And yes, we've gotten some more, but we've never gotten what we've really needed, and we know we're gonna get some later. At the moment, I'm gonna put Zoro's backstory at, look, it is what it is, you know? Like, you know what? I'm gonna just put it at sad. I mean, he lost the love of his life. That's sad. You know, I'm not gonna say it is what it is for that. I'm just gonna put him at that sad. We're gonna find out more more. I mean, eventually, hopefully. We just don't know really anything. And he's never made me bawl my eyes out. He's made me get hype. He's made me almost flip my table. But this is a saddest backstory ranking, so we're going back in it. Next up, we have Koala. Now, this is what I'm talking about. Here's a sad backstory. I am gonna put her at hit a nerve. I mean, if we're being honest, Koala also has the potential to be really good when it comes to character development, depending on how involved she gets now where we are in the manga. But talking about her backstory, I mean, she was freed by Fisher Tiger doing another GOAT moment. So I mean, we saw everything that she experienced. So I think putting her right there at hit a nerve is fair. I mean, just thinking about the flashbacks, I remember her on the ship. It's tough. The list is looking good, but so I think Koala's gonna be good at hit a nerve. I think she's good right there. I think she's gonna be good right there. And like I said, I have her over Jinbei right now because I feel like, I don't know, that's tough. Maybe I'm gonna put Koala behind Jinbei actually. Yeah, because Jinbei being the fishman, you know, that's interesting. This is gonna be a very interesting list. This is a very interesting list. Okay, now who do we have next? Ooh, we have Kiros. Okay, I'm putting him at something in my eye. Now look, again, this is off of personal, you know, a personal opinion. I don't know about you guys, but being turned into a toy soldier and being forgotten about and still looking after your daughter for 10 years? Oh, I mean, come on now. And I mean, I'm a father, so I mean, that might be why it got me, but come on. Like, Dressrosa was full of dramatic moments, but the backstories, like by the time he gets introduced into Dressrosa, I started having that vibe. I'm like, that's the legendary warrior, man. But what all happened? And when you find out what happened, like Doflamingo just took everything from him, and just him fighting for 10 years, you know, or however long it was. It might not have been 10 years. I want to say it was around 10 years, but it was, you guys know exactly what I mean. You guys are thinking it, you're envisioning it in your head again, the flashbacks of his backstory. Yes. Ooh, like how he lost his wife. Yeah, it's an A. That's an A tier. That's an A tier sad backstory. That's something in my eye. Just talking about it now, just something in my eye. I'm blaming my eyelash. So next up, I have to go and have his daughter, Rebecca, you know, and I just think it's only fair. I have to put her up there with him. I have to. I mean, I have to. Come on. Like, even her own solo emotional moments that she had that weren't in her backstory, they were all due to the strength that she grew in her past. You know, with the flashbacks we saw with her and her dad just going through it. Like, I just don't think it's fair to put her lower than where her dad is. That's like a bundle. That's a team. You know what I'm saying? They're intertwined right there. So they're both up there. Something in my eye, most definitely. Next up, we have Mr. Drip Lord Robert Lucci, and with him, this might as well be his motto. It is what it is. I don't want to hear anyone talk about a sad story of Rob Lucci, man. Come on. I'm gonna put him right there next to Dofi. Look at Dofi laughing. He got the homie right there. Rob Lucci don't want to be down there, but it is what it is. He's basically a character who's born to do what he's doing. That's why they call him a genius. Rob Lucci is just a savage character with a savage past. Look, next up we have another character that is probably going to end up in that department, but again, remember, it's a saddest backstory ranking. I didn't make this tier list right here, so we have Silver's Rayleigh, and we're going to say it is what it is. But that gives us a good moment to talk about it, though, because, you know, his past is a mystery. All we really know is that, you know, Roger found him and he asked him to join his crew. Like, if I remember correctly, I think he did say he was on the run from the One Piece world government or something like that, but that's what made me have a lot of crazy theories that we could talk about in another video, because there might be something there. But if we're talking about sad backstories, it is what it is, and Rayleigh's just going to be right there, chilling with the demons. Next up, we have one of my favorite One Piece characters, Trafalgar D. Water Law, and you already know where he's going, man. You already know. This was tough. It was a tough decision here, but I have to, I'm gonna put Law's backstory right there, but it's a terrible day for Rain for sure. I'm gonna move Law. I'm moving Law right up there in front of Nami's. I think as a total package with that, it was just it was so much from his childhood experiences. You know, we get to see his siblings, and then his illness, the poison, it just, and then getting hit with that quick left of him being taken in by Doflamingo's family, him growing that bond with Korra, and then Korra's sacrifice, everything Korra was trying to do, finding the cure for Law. Like, are you kidding me? It might be Korra doing that, but Law was right next to him. Law was struggling as a child, and Korra was doing everything he could for him. It's a terrible day for Rain. Like, Korra's last words to Law, everything Law had to experience and he absorbed and just took on, putting his up there. At the moment, he's the front runner. Easily one of the saddest backstories in One Piece. Easily. That's why Dofi is all the way at the bottom, as it is what it is. I'm not putting his backstory anywhere near that. Like, some of y'all forget, Dofi's backstory got crazy all because his dad wanted to be a human with a heart. And Dolphy was like, hey, what, bro? And then it just went haywire. Look, next character on here is a hot topic right now. I know some of my viewers right now, they're not caught up to the manga, and I'm specifically not spoiling anything, but we don't know a lot about Vivi's backstory. Now, I do have a lot to say about Vivi, but I'm gonna save that for some discussion videos that I'm working on for later on this week. So if you do want to talk about Vivi and the recent chapters and all the drama that's going on, stay tuned for those. But let's just keep on going. We're gonna put Vivi at it is what it is for now, but I have a feeling in about a year or two, when I do an update to this, she's definitely gonna be higher. I mean, I'll probably do an update before 2 years, but you know what I mean. Next character we have up is Whitebeard, Mr. Edward Newgate. And again, if we're going off of just like actual backstory, besides, I'm not gonna really go off of Prime Whitebeard as a backstory, if that makes sense. When I'm thinking about Whitebeard's backstory, I'm waiting to find out more about, Stussy and Buckingham and Weevil, so we can find out his actual backstory, like what went on in his life, what went on at the Rocks Pirates. That's more of a backstory for me. What made him so prideful in wanting a family, like he wanted to after what went wrong with the Rocks Pirates. There's so many blank spaces with Whitebeard. So again, at the moment, I'm gonna say it is what it is. I really am. I don't know why I put Vivi at the very end. I'm gonna just put her, I'm putting her up here, even above Chinjiao. If he wants to, whoa, bro doesn't want to get the spot up, man. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Next up, we have arguably one of my favorite characters in One Piece. It's not arguably. Top three. Nico Robin, saddest backstory in One Piece, in my opinion. The saddest backstories, man. There's some bangers, but I mean, come on now. Like, of course she hit us with the I want to live, but that's not the backstory, but it's what comes from it. The Ohara incident, that flashback during Enies Lobby was enough. Like, the buildup it added to my first impression was ridiculous. I just wanted more. I didn't want to see Nico Robin hurt more, obviously, but I was just like, what is this cinema? Because I mean, beforehand, we knew that the One Piece world government wanted her. We just didn't know what they wanted her for exactly. What her value was really about. But her backstory not only got me in my feels, it just really put into perspective of how much of a valuable, important character Nico Robin really is to the story. Like, then we got the bonding with Robin and Jaguar D. Saul. We got the last words from Jaguar D. Saul to Nico Robin. No one in this whole world is born to be alone. It's a terrible day for Rain. Like, everything with her just like reuniting with her mom the way she did, and then what happened after that, all of her friends, everything that was happening to her was just horrible, and to the point that she just really thought that she just walked with bad luck everywhere she went, and it was just, it sucked to really see her feel that way, and we finally got to understand why she was hurting like that. Yeah, we're just putting it up there right now. It's a terrible day for Rain. Definitely Nico Robin, one of the saddest backstories in One Piece. Masterful. Look, next up we have our MC Luffy, and this one was kind of hard as well. It really was. I'm gonna put it at hit a nerve. It's tough though. It really is. I'm doing this off of first impression. When we had the flashback with Luffy, Ace, and Sabo, we finally got to get a dive into their childhood and see everything they went through, and yeah, there were some sad parts. There definitely were some sad parts when he thought he lost Sabo. That's when it was. Because I mean, he, out of his three brothers, he doesn't have the saddest backstory as of now. As far as we know, he does not. And because of that, I am gonna put on, hit a nerve. I'm gonna put him under Katakuri because, Sabo ends up being alive. But at that time, it was sad. It definitely was. It hit a nerve for me. Luffy was going through a pivotal point in the story at that time. So I'm trying not to put that into account, because I don't think it compares to, some of the backstories like Frankie's, what Boa had to go through and so forth. Now in the future, we could move him up when we finally get more into Dragon. We get more into Luffy's mom. When we figure all of that out, like what happens if Crocodile really is Luffy's mom? Then Luffy's backstory, that could be sad if Crocodile is, it's just gonna be wild, So I hope you guys know what I'm saying. So I think it's fair just to put him there. When we saw what happened to Sabo and we saw how it hurt Luffy, we were sad. If we have Luffy, you know who we're doing next. We gotta do Ace. Gotta go to one of the brothers, man. Got to. Now with Ace has been through it. Oh man, he's been through it. Right when we first see Ace, we see him as this strong, confident brother, and then we get more into his backstory. Him losing his mom right after birth, him being the actual son of Goldie Roger, and what that meant and did towards him as a child. It made him have a horrible childhood. It made him hate his childhood. He was literally literally always getting picked on because of who his dad was. And you have to remember how everyone looked at Gold D. Roger at that time, and still do, you know, like remember at Marineford, whenever everyone finally heard, you know, who his dad was and it was announced, look how people were acting. It was something he dealt with throughout his whole childhood. So I personally feel like his backstory isn't talked about enough. It does have a very pivotal, you know, meaning. I'm gonna put a terrible day for Rain, because I would be lying if I said I wasn't crying during Marineford when it happened. So I think that's fair. Next up we have Sabo. Now look, I do think Ace has the saddest backstory out the three. Sabo did have it rough though. You know, Sabo was born to nobles, but we can't get it twisted. We can't be like, oh, he's the one who decided to run away, blah blah blah. We have to remember in the One Piece world how these nobles act. You know, that's the same reason why Dragon was disgusted. So that's the real reason why Sabo ran away and started hanging out with Ace and started doing what they were doing, and then they became the trio with Luffy. And then, you know, eventually, you know, it got to the sad part where, you know, Sabo got, you know, rocked by that celestial dragon. And I mean, at that time, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was teary-eyed, because I mean, all Sabo was trying to do was get out of that world he was in. It was driving him crazy, you know. And after the attack by the celestial dragon, he luckily, you know, gets saved by Dragon. And I mean, he loses his memory, but still, it's sad. I just don't know where I should put it. I'm just gonna say it hit a nerve. I don't think his story is more sad than Koala's. I really don't. I don't think his story is more sad than Koala's. I mean, would it be fair to put him right at next to Luffy? I know it's kind of tough. It's kind of tough. Now I am wild, and he was a child, and the celestial dragon really took out his ship. I'm putting him at something in my eye, because now that I'm thinking about it, just, yeah, I'm gonna just do that. You know what? There we go. All right, so next up we have Senor Pink, and I think you guys already know. I'm gonna put it somewhere high. I'm gonna put it at something in my eye, and I'm gonna put it right. I'm gonna put it right before, man, I'm gonna put it right before Rebecca and after Sabo. I am. Senor Pink's story is sad to me. It really is. It's sad with a little bit of just, I don't even know the word to use, just Senor Pink. That sounded so weird. But I would be lying if I said it didn't put a tear in my eye. Like, everything he went through with his lady, it got me. I'm not gonna lie, it really did. And then of course you involve a child with everything that's going on. Come on now, it has to be. Because I mean, off of first appearance, you know, when he popped up and what he was wearing, I wasn't expecting the backstory that we got from him. Everything he went through with his lady, his child. Next thing you know, I'm crying, you know, like he goes from a suit to what he's wearing, then you find out the reason why he's wearing what he's wearing, and I'm just like, yo, something in my eye. But we're just gonna go with that. I think that's fair. I think we can agree with this. Next up, man, we have our favorite musician, Brook, man. Yoo-hoo-hoo! Laboon and the Rum Bar Pirates. Should I say more? I'm putting it at S. I'm sorry. Even when I think of Bink Sake, man, I just start tearing up. Laboon. But even besides that, just like the bond he had with his original crew was so just genuine, and that's what made it so hard hitting, you know, his bond with his captain getting sick. I mean, it was just wild, you know, like due to his devil fruit, he survived for so long, and it worked out for him in the long run. But part of me at first just wanted to say, let me put it at, you know, something in my eye, but no, I'll be lying to you if I say I wasn't crying whenever everything just, when his backstory was complete, when we found out that he knew Laboon, that was it. I was like, so you telling me on top of everything else that I have predicted with how this story is gonna end, I'm gonna be crying when this skeleton reunites with this whale? That's what I'm talking about. Yes. S tier sad backstory, yes. And last but not least, I had to go and save Sanji for last. If you've seen a lot of my recent videos, my TikToks, or just a lot of my One Piece content, I've been saying Sanji stocks are at an all-time high. And because of that, I'm putting Sanji up here at a terrible day for Rain. He easily has one of the saddest backstories in One Piece. Easily. I'm going to put him right under Nico Robin. I am. It's tough. It is tough. His backstory is so cruel, but it's from his own family. You know, that's what makes it just hard hitting. That I'm gonna put Sanji, I'm moving Sanji up to 1. I'm gonna use that as that factor. I mean, let's just think about it right now. Like, first, when we finally got his backstory, we got so many questions answered that we were asking for a while, because we weren't really hearing anything about his past, you know. And then we were getting the weird bounty flyers, and there was always something going on, I just felt like, and us wondering why he doesn't talk about his family at all. But you know, his backstory finally gave us some clarification on why he respects Zeph so much. But yeah, I mean, seeing what Sanji went through by his own family's hand was mind-blowing, and it was jaw-dropping. And you know, when it got to the part of just seeing him locked up in a cage, and then his relationship and how it was with his brothers, just how nasty and cruel, and how he just wanted to be around his mom, man, yeah, thinking about it now, I think we're gonna leave it up at the very top, because the more I talk about it, the more I get pissed off at his family again, man. I mean, I love his sister, love Raiju. Oh man, yeah, we're leaving it up there. Terrible day for Rain, because man, the whole Cake Island arc, I always say this, was a master class for Sanji character development, and some other parts as well, even before Whole Cake Island. Sanji's stocks have been high, and I think he deserves that top spot. At first, I was gonna have Nico Robin. It's fair to say, we can say it's a tie, because I mean, all the S tier backstories up here are so sad. Like I said, I ranked these just off of my first impression of these characters' backstories, and I'm not gonna lie, I think it ended up pretty good. It ended up pretty good. Of course, when I do an updated one on this, I'll probably change some around, because I'm probably gonna overthink and start regretting some of these decisions when I'm editing the video, but it is what it is. But yeah, guys, that is all for the One Piece Saddest backstory ranking tier list, and man, it was a sad one. I started tearing up just a little bit. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, make sure you do and join the family. I have more videos in the works for you guys right now. Like I said earlier, we're almost at that 100,000 subscriber milestone. By the time this video is posted, we might have already hit it. If so, I love you guys so much. Yeah, let me not tear up talking about it. I'm getting excited. So until I see you guys next time, God bless.